Good evening students. In this video we will see creation of 3D models in AutoCAD software. So here we are going to see two exercises. One is performing Boolean operation on the created 3D model and another one is combination of solids. So first we will see performing Boolean operations. First we have to create 3D models and then we have to perform operations like union, subtraction and intersection. So before creating 3D models, we have to do some basic steps in CAD software. We will see what are those steps first and then we'll start do the exercise. Okay, first thing is you have to set the drawing window in 3D mode. So in the right bottom corner you can able to find a settings icon. So default is drafting and annotation. Change it to 3D modeling. Okay, select this one. You can able to see. So the icons are changed. And you can also check it whether it is changed into 3D mode or not. Click here and you can find a tick mark close to this 3D modeling. That means now the window is in 3D mode. Okay. So after setting in the window in 3D mode, next set the units in millimeters. Type units and set millimeters. And then third step is go to this wireframe. In the view toolbox, you can find this 2D wireframe. Select this one and convert this 2D wireframe into shaded mode. Okay, from 2D to 2D wireframe to shaded mode. Below that you have to select SW isometric. Okay, first you have to set the in shaded mode. Next we have to set the window in isometric mode. So you can able to see the changes in the window. Earlier it was a 2D mode. Now in isometric you can able to see all three directions. Okay. Next one, type DS. So this is important. Type DS and go to object snap and check whether this is ticked or not. This object snap on and give select all. Similarly go to 3D snap object. Here also you check this one 3D object snap and also give select all and ensure that every thing is selected. Give OK. So these are the 5 basic steps you have to do when you enter into the when you are creating a 3D model. First one is you have to set the window in 3D modeling mode. Next one is set the units in millimeters and change this 2D wireframe to shaded mode, and below that give isometric, SW isometric, and then type DS. Go to object snap as well as 3D object snap. Check whether the both is ticked or not and give select all and give OK. Now we will move on to the question. So take the first question. Create a 3D model by placing a cylinder of 30 mm diameter and 50 mm height at the center of a cube with a side of 50 mm and then perform Boolean operations of union, subtraction and intersection. So in the question what they are given is they are asking us to place the cylinder at the center of a cube. So first we will create a cube. So go to box option. So select the box and select first point anywhere in the window. So try to be close to the coordinates. So I am selecting the first point here. So here it is asking two coordinates. One is length, another one is width. So first specify length as 50 mm and then press tab. Now it is asking to specify the width. Now again specify 50. Since it is a cube, all length, width and height all are same. Okay, 50 mm. Then give enter and then move the cursor in the upward direction and give again 50 as height. Okay. Now the cube is formed. Zoom in. Okay. Now this is the cube. Now next what we have to do is we have to place a cylinder at the center of the cube. The cylinder diameter is 30 mm, height is 50 mm. So before placing the cylinder, what we have to do, we have to change this color of this cube. Right click this one, select and right click this one. You can able to find the properties. So to do this, first select the cube and then give right click, properties. So a separate dialog box opens. In this first one is color option. Select this one and change the color to yellow or green. Okay, so I am going to set it in yellow. Okay, now the color is changed. Once the color is changed, close this dialog box. Next what we have to do, we have to locate the center of this cube so that we can able to place the cylinder. So for that, what I'm going to do, I'm going to mark a line from the midpoint of this edge to the midpoint of the other edge. Okay. So select the line. So when you come close to this edge, you can able to locate the midpoint of this edge. You can able to find a triangle like this. This triangle represents that you are at the midpoint of the edge. Okay. Select here. So I'm doing it again. Now it has to be 50, the length should be 50, the angle should be 90 degree. Okay. So you can drag the mouse and place the other corner at exactly at the midpoint of the other edge. Okay. Otherwise you specify 50. Okay. Now it is 50 and the angle is 90 degree. Now click. Now we formed the one line, and then take another line. Start from here. Again, this is find out that midpoint by locating the triangle. Okay. Now come this side. Again check. When you are exactly at the midpoint of the other edge, you can able to have this 50 and the angle is 90 degree. So now we have located the center of the cube. Okay, now go to cylinder, select this cylinder option, and then exactly select at the center of the cube, and then specify the radius. So in the command box you can see specify the base radius. So here you have to specify the radius, not the diameter. So in the question, diameter is 30 mm. So you have to specify radius as 15 mm. Enter. Now it is asking to specify the height. Before specifying the height, you move the cursor in the downward direction and then specify the height. Okay. So for the software, we have to show in which direction it has to form the cylinder. So for us, we have to form at the bottom. So we are at the top face of the cube. So the height has to be generated at the bottom. So move the cursor in the downward direction and specify 50 mm. Okay. Okay. Now the cylinder is formed. Okay. Now the cylinder is formed. If you want, you can change the color of this cylinder. Select the cylinder, right click it, go to the properties and select the color in red. Okay. And then close the developer. So according to the question, we have created a 3D model by placing a cylinder at the center of the cube. So now we have to perform union, subtraction and the intersection. So for that, before doing those operations, what you do, select this objects, select both the objects. Okay. Select both the objects, Control C and Control V. So get 3 objects. Okay, another Control V. So get 3 similar objects, because to perform 3 different operations. So in first one we will perform union operation. So for performing union operation, you have to, in the solid editing toolbox, you can see, keep the mouse there and you can see solid union. Okay, select this one, solid union, select this one. Now in the command box you can see it is asking us to select the objects. So we have to select the objects that which we want to combine, that means which we want to unite. Okay. So I am selecting the cube. See, select one object is found, and also select the cylinder. Okay. So select both cylinder and cube, and then now you can see select objects. Total 2 objects has been selected. Okay, now you press space or enter to finish the command. Now this object becomes a single object. Now this object becomes a single object. Okay. So earlier it was a 2 object. Now it has become a single one. Next we will perform subtraction. So this one is, there is icon below the union. You can see, place the cursor, it will show you solid subtract. Okay. So select this one. Now it is asking us to select the objects. Now first select the cube, press space, and then select the cylinder. Okay. So I am doing it again. So select the subtraction option. So it is asking us to select the object. First select the cube, press space. Now select the cylinder and press space. Okay, earlier in case of union we selected both cube and as well as cylinder and then finish the command. Whereas in case of subtract, first you select the cube, give space, and then second time it will ask you to again select an object. Now you select the cylinder and then press space. Now you can see, can rotate and you can see so hole is formed. Okay, hole is, in this hole is formed. Earlier it was cylinder. So to see that, you can able to rotate this one. So I am doing this subtraction again. Select subtraction. First select the cube, press space. Now select the cylinder, press space. So now hole is formed. That means the cylinder is get subtracted from the cube. Okay. Next we will see intersection. So you can find this intersection option below the subtract option. Select this intersection. Now it is asking intersect select objects. Now in this case select first cube and then select the cylinder. Again go to intersect. First select the cylinder and then select the, first select the cube and then select the cylinder. So, or else you can do it in the reverse order also. First select the cylinder and then select the cube. Okay, you can see totally 2 objects has been formed. Now give space to complete the command. So you can have only the intersection region. So for union and intersect, you have to select both the object and you have to finish the command. Whereas for subtraction, you have to first select the cube, press space, and then you have to select the cylinder second time and then give space. Okay, we are subtracting the cylinder from the cube. So this is the 3D models for first question. Create a 3D model by placing a cylinder of 30 mm diameter and 50 mm height at the center of a cube with a side of 50 mm and then perform Boolean operations of union, subtraction and intersection. Next we will see the second question. Second question, it is given that create a 3D model of 2 cylinders with a diameter of 40 mm and height 80 mm so that the center of one cylinder lies on the circumference of the another cylinder. Then perform Boolean operations of union, intersection and subtraction. So what we do, first we will create a cylinder for 40 mm diameter and height 80 mm. Go to cylinder option, click, specify the radius as 40, radius is means diameter is 40 mm. Yes, diameter is 40 mm, but here the software is asking us to specify the radius, so give 20 mm and move the cursor in the upward direction and specify the height. Height is 80 mm. So move the cursor in the upward direction 80 mm. So now we have formed one cylinder. We have to form 2 cylinders, okay, of same dimension, same diameter and height. but the other cylinder have to be formed. The center of the other cylinder should be on the circumference of the first cylinder. So again you select cylinder and go to the top face and you click the edge. So when you are close to the edge, you can find this in this symbol. Okay, select here, select on the edge of the top face of the cylinder. That is the center of our second cylinder. Now again specify the radius as 20 and then move in the downward direction and specify the height as 80 mm. Okay, so now we have drawn the two cylinders. Now we have drawn two cylinders of similar dimension. Now select both the cylinders, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, create two more 3D models of similar one. So now we have three models. Now we will perform three operations. First go to union, select both the cylinders 1 and 2 and then give finish and then give space or enter to finish the command. Now if you select, this become a single object. Earlier it was a two objects, now it is become a single object after giving the union command. Okay, next select the subtraction, select the first cylinder, space. Now select the second cylinder, give space. Okay, now the second cylinder has been subtracted from the first cylinder. Okay. Now last one, intersection, select intersection, select both the cylinders at a time and then give space. Okay, this is the output after performing intersection option, this is the output after performing subtraction, and this is the output after performing union. So remember one thing, for union and intersection you have to select both the objects and you have to finish the command, whereas for subtraction you have to select the first cylinder, give space and then select the second cylinder and again you give space to complete the command. Okay, this is the solution for the second question. Next we will move on to the combination of solid. Combination of solid is means we are putting one solid over another solid. Okay, we are combining two different solids. Okay, solids of two different shapes. Okay, so we will take the first question. What they are given is create a 3D model by placing a cone of base radius 20 mm and height 60 mm on a cylinder with a radius of 40 mm and 60 mm height. So they are asking us to place a cone on top of a cylinder. First we will create a cylinder. So first we will create the cylinder and then we will place the cone on top of the cylinder. So go to the screen. First select cylinder, click anywhere. The radius they are given as 40 mm. So specify radius as 40 mm. And then move the cursor upward and then give height as 60 mm. So now we have created a cylinder. Next on top of this cylinder we have to place a cone. Okay, the radius of the cone is 20 mm and the height is 60 mm. So go here, select the cone. So this is the center, you are getting a plus mark, that means that is the center of the cylinder. Okay, from the center, after clicking the center you drag the mouse cursor and you have to specify the radius of the cone as 20 mm. Okay, radius 20 mm. Now you have to move in the upward direction, height is 60 mm. So move in the upward direction and specify height 60. So if you want to differentiate, right click properties and go and change the color. Red one. Close the dialog box. Again you select the cone, right click, properties, select the area. So I have selected both the components. So that's why now I am selecting only the cone, properties. So this is the answer for the first one. Next we will see the second question. Create a 3D model by placing a cylinder of radius 30 mm and height 80 mm on a cube of side 50 mm. So first we have to create a cube for 50 mm. So select, for creating cube, select box, select first point 50 mm, tab 50 mm, enter, and then move in the upward direction again 50 mm. So on the top of this cube you have to place a cylinder of radius 30 mm and height 80 mm. Go to cylinder, select the cylinder, go to the center of the cube, select the center, and then so I am randomly taking the center point. So if you want to locate the exact center, you have to mark it by drawing a line from the midpoint of one edge to the opposite edge, okay, and then locate the center, which we have seen in the first question. Okay, so now I have selected randomly the center of the cylinder. Radius is 20 mm, so give 20 mm. Height is 60 mm. Radius is 30 mm, height is 80 mm. So I will draw it again. Cylinder. So center of the cube. Radius is 30 mm. Height is 80 mm. So to differentiate, select the cube, right click properties and change the colors. So this is the answer for the second question. So before start creating the 3D models, creating 3D models is very simple in AutoCAD. So before starting, the 5 things you have to look after is, first one is you have to set the window in 3D modeling mode, and then second, set the units. Third, change this wireframe into shaded mode, and below that you have to set in isometric, and then type DS, check whether the object snap as well as 3D object snap is ticked or not. And then you proceed creating the 3D models. Okay. We have seen 4 examples, 2 for performing Boolean operation and 2 for performing combination of solids. Thank you.